For those of you that were not here for yesterday's webinar, my name is Courtney Bell, and we will be going over the basics of Google Drive. We are going to be using GoToWebinar. So there are two main ways that you can ask questions, but I do want to remind you that you are muted by default. Now, if you raise your hand using the raise hand icon, you can ask questions either using your microphone and speakers, or you can dial in with a telephone and it'll provide you an audio pin. The second way that you can ask questions is by simply entering questions in the question pane box. And we will be leaving a little bit of time at the end of our session for questions. I know that you guys have been using Google Drive and Google Apps, so I'm sure you'll have a lot of different questions for us, so we'll handle those. So first I want to just do a quick audio test to make sure that you can actually hear me and see my screen. So if you can see my screen, see my mouse moving, and you can hear me clearly, go ahead and hit that raise hand icon for me. Perfect. And it looks like Lisa, Mark, and Sam, they can hear me loud and clear. I know the rest of you are in a conference room. So I'm going to take that as everybody can hear and see my screen. I'll go ahead and lower the hands, and I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. So as today's objective, we're just going to go over a variety of basic features, including key demonstrations, in order for you all to begin using Google Drive. And I want to go ahead and just start off with a sneak peek of what topics we're going to be covering today. So for those of you that don't already have Drive installed on your computer, I'm going to go through downloading Google Drive. Then we're going to go ahead and get into some organization. We're going to get into navigation and folders of Google Drive. And then after that, we're going to demo some real-time collaboration, such as inserting comments, revision history, and downloading your documents. So first things first, let's go ahead and get into downloading and installing Google Drive. Now, I do want to let you know if you aren't able to install Google Drive on your computer, perhaps you don't have admin settings, you can submit a help desk ticket for Jeff, and he'll go ahead and he'll log on and install Google Drive for you. So the first things first, in order to start downloading Google Drives, we can do it one of two ways. We can access our universal navigation bar and select Drive from our Gmail account, as we covered yesterday, or we can simply go to drive.google.com/start. Sorry about that. So then we're simply going to get started with 5 gigabytes free. 5 gigabytes is the amount of storage that you have for Google Drive. And we'll also discuss that a little bit later, because if you have the files in a Google Doc, spreadsheet, in a Google app format, it is not going to count against your storage. If you have it left in the Word format, the Excel format, that's when it's going to count against your storage. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So we're simply going to download Google Drive, and you can download this for your Mac or your PC. From there, we're simply going to select Accept and Install. And I want to remind you that this webinar is recorded, so you will be able to watch these steps later. Next, you're simply going to sign into Google Drive using your FSEG login and your password. Next, it's going to walk you through installing Drive. What it's going to do is it's going to put a folder on your desktop. So there's two ways that you can sync with your Drive. You can sync through the actual web application or through this folder on your desktop. So you're simply going to select Next, and then you're going to start the sync. And I'll demo the folder a little bit later. So as I mentioned, that Google Drive folder is going to be placed on your computer. It is going to sync all files in your Google Drive. It's going to store it in the cloud, but you're also going to be able to access these files on your device. So all of the files in your Drive will then be accessible on your desktop. So this is a really great feature because you can drag files from your computer into the Drive folder, and it will sync with the Google Drive web application, and it'll send those files to the cloud. So now you can basically take your documents with you anywhere you go. You can access them with any device, even if you're not connected to the internet. So first, let's go ahead and talk about the layout of Google Drive. So in order to get to Drive, we're simply going to go to our Mail account, access Drive from our universal navigation bar. So as you can see, it's a streamlined look. It's laid out similar to what your inbox is. So to your left, we have My Drive, and we have your folders in collections. So this is similar to where your labels would be. In the middle, we have your documents, and the documents are being displayed. This depends on what you have selected on the left-hand side. So right now, I'm just in My Drive. If I select Gazmo documents, I can go in and see what's in that folder, so on and so forth. As you can see, we have the title of the document, the owner of the document, and when it was last edited by. So you can see that these documents were last edited by me. If they were edited today, they will give you a timestamp. If they weren't edited today, you'll just get the date. So My Drive right here is going to consist of all of the files and folders that you've uploaded into Google Drive. So this is also going to consist of any Google Docs that you've created and that you own. So essentially, My Drive is all documents that are yours or that you've created. We then have Shared with Me, and this contains all items specifically shared with you. So we'll talk about sharing later on in the webinar, but once items are shared with you, there is an option to select them, and then you can add them to My Drive. So this is going to take them out of Shared with Me and put them in your Drive. So we can check and select Add to Drive, or we can actually drag the document over to My Drive or one of our folders. Continuing on down the left-hand side, we have Starred. Starred displays any items you've placed a star on. It's very similar to starring emails in Gmail. It just gives them another level of importance that's visible to your eyes only. We then have Recent, and this displays recently opened private and shared items. Now, I do want to point out this is in reverse chronological order. This is nice because it's a perfect way to locate and view recently opened items for quick reference. So your most recent items are going to be at the top. So you can see I have our Google Drive webinar presentation that I had just used, and that's going to be right at the top for us. Below that, we can simply select More. And here we can see Activity. So this is going to show everything that's been recently edited. So if you find this list to be a little bit too busy, you can remove by checking and selecting Remove from Activity. I do want to point out, if someone else edits a document, you will see that at the top of the list because they are currently making changes. We have our offline docs. Now you are able to do Google Drive offline. You can see here we can enable offline editing. If we select Enable Offline, we are then able to add documents to our offline docs, and we will be able to access those and edit them at any time. You also can get the Google Drive app on your phone as well, to where or your iPad, so on and so forth. If you needed to be on the go and edit documents from a mobile device, you are able to do that too. Next, we have All Items. So this is really similar to All Mail. It displays all items in your Google Drive except for the ones in your trash. You do have unlimited Google Docs storage, as I mentioned before. It could be a document, spreadsheet, presentation. If you leave them in that Google Docs format, there's unlimited storage. So this is a great feature once you begin to utilize Google Drive. We then have trash, and this is actually different than our trash in Gmail. As I mentioned in our past webinar with Gmail, your trash is going to be purged every 30 days. The trash in your Google Drive is going to display all the items you deleted, but the key difference is that items will remain in the trash until you choose to delete it permanently. So you can see we can select delete forever, or we can actually restore our document as well. So let's go ahead and continue navigating the Google Drive interface. And let's take a look at the types of documents. So I'm just going to go back to our drive, and then I'm going to select create. So you can see we can create a Word document. A document is very similar to Microsoft Word. We then have presentation, which is very similar to PowerPoint. Spreadsheet, that's very similar to Excel. Form, which is something brand new. It's kind of like doing a survey. We won't be covering form today. We're actually going to cover forms tomorrow in our advanced session. Drawing, which is like paint as well. So we're not telling you that you no longer have to use Microsoft Word. We just want to let you know that you have the option to create these documents from Drive as well. When you create them from Drive, you have the use of the real-time collaboration. You can make edits at the same time. You can chat, you can share, and then you can also access these items in the cloud. So the next thing I want to go ahead and talk about is folder. So let's talk about folder for a few minutes. One useful feature about folder is, say you're working on a project and you've got 30 documents in a folder and you need to share them. Rather than sharing each document individually, you actually can share the entire folder. So there'll be a drop down next to your folders, and you can see I can go ahead and then share. So I can share this whole Gazmo Docs folder from right here. So we'll be talking about sharing a little bit later, but you also can share with a group of email addresses as well. So we talked about yesterday how you can share with groups. If I did want to share this folder, I can go ahead and I can share that with my training group. You can see training department, 3 contacts. It'll automatically put those in there for me. So I just wanted to point that out real quick. We'll talk about these share settings a little bit later on, but I did want to mention that you can share with a group as well. So if we do share, each member of the group will have access to all of the documents in the folder. You also have an option if we go within a folder, we can create a document within the folder as well. So if I hit create document, this document, this untitled document, is going to be inside this folder. It's very useful to create documents from within a folder. It helps keep your documents organized. I personally find that if I do it right from the folder, I don't have to remember to organize my documents later. You also can add a star to a folder. We can organize, we can rename, we can change the color of the folder as well. So if I'm tired of having it green, I can go ahead and make this yellow. You can see that that changes as well. And that's simply by selecting the drop down next to the folder. You see we can also organize, so we can do subfolders as well. You also have the ability to download the entire folder. This is really great because it's going to save you a lot of time. Rather than going through and selecting download as on each document, we can just download the whole folder right to our desktop. So we can select create and we can select folder from here. But we also have this quick add right here of new folder as well. So let's go ahead and continue navigating our Drive inbox. So we've talked about the different types of documents. We've talked about organizing them in folders. But if you forget where you've placed a document, you always can find it in the search bar. So we have the Google search bar, and it works just like mail. So if I want to go up here, type in FSEG, you can see it's going to automatically pre-populate some options that I have. Now, if those options aren't it, I can go ahead and then just hit search. Now you can see it's going to search within the document and the title of the document. We also have the advanced search. So similar to Gmail, how we had our advanced search, we can simply click the drop down again here. You can see that we can search by type of document, we can search by the visibility, and we can search by the ownership. We also can search by documents in our domain. So you see I can search Dido training. For you, it would be FSEG. So moving on from search, let's go ahead and talk about uploading. You can upload any file type you want, and it can be stored in the cloud. So we can go ahead and simply go next to create. We're going to click upload. As you can see, we can upload files or we can upload entire folders. So as I mentioned before, huge time saver. So when you upload a document, we're going to go ahead and select file. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick a random document. So let's go to my documents. And let's go ahead and pick a good document. I know I have one that's a sample. Here we go. So when I click my sample document, you can see that we're instantly put into our upload settings. So keep in mind you do have that unlimited docs and storage. I know I'm pounding that into your brain, but if we do convert this document, it is not going to take up any space. Now, also, when you upload a document and convert it, occasionally you may see different formatting. Unfortunately, we do sometimes lose our formatting when we are uploading and converting a document. So I always want you to take the time to go through and check that document to make sure that our formatting hasn't changed too much. I like to keep confirm settings before each upload checked. I do sometimes leave my documents to where they are not converted. They're in their Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word format. So let's go ahead and upload a document and we will not convert it. So I'm going to go ahead and select upload. You can see down here, we have our status, we have upload complete, and we can see that we can share directly from here. So now if I go into my drive, I have my sample Word doc. If I open this document, you can see that it opens just as I had it. All my formatting is still there. However, I cannot edit it. So that's why I always want to allow you guys to confirm your settings, because there's always those exceptions if you want to keep that format. So let's go ahead. Now that we've uploaded the document, let's go ahead and try it when we convert it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. We're going to go back to upload. We're going to go to our file. And from here, we're going to go ahead and convert the document. So we can still see our status here. It looks like it was unable to convert. And it might be because it's doc.doc. Oh, here we go. It did convert. So now when we select in here, you can see that we are able to edit this document. And it does look like it did have a problem converting. So I do apologize. It looks like my Google Drive is acting up right now. Let's go ahead. We can always try a different file. So here we can see the percentage that it's uploading. We can see that it's finishing and converted. So this one did work. I do apologize about that. So now when we select Google Apps, we can see my document and we can actually see that a lot of my formatting did come over. I do still have my colors here. I've got my images that were uploaded in that Microsoft Word document, and I'm able to edit these images within this document as well. Now that we've uploaded this document, we can always go ahead, we can share it out. They will, if we do share the document, whoever you share it with will get an email letting them know that you've shared this document. So now you know how to upload documents from within Google Drive. So let's go ahead and let's talk about uploading documents from within that folder. So I'm on a Mac, so we can see up here that I have my Google Drive. and I can go ahead and I can open my Google Drive folder. So this is how it's going to be on a Mac. However, on your PC, you're just going to have a folder placed smack on your desktop. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open my Google Drive folder. And I just want to give you an example of what this looks like. So you can see all of my documents. We can see the document type. We can see that they are officially uploaded and that I'm able to view them with that check mark. So if I wanted to go ahead and upload a whole folder to my Google Drive, you can see I can go ahead and I can simply drag this folder to my drive. Now then it's going to start to sync. So you can see we have sync complete. So it's pretty quick, and now it looks like it's syncing 1 of 24. So it's officially starting to sync all of my documents in that folder. Now I do want to point out, when you drag a file to the desktop, it is not going to convert the documents. They will remain in their native form. So if you haven't converted a document to a Google Drive format, you can always open it from your Drive folder, and then you can edit it from within here. So if you did need to use an Excel document, you're able to keep that in your Google Drive within this folder. So example, I've got my polls, surveys, facts, and tests. If I were to leave this as Excel, I can still open it from within this folder, edit my document in Microsoft Excel, and it will still sync to the cloud and sync with my Google Drive. Now just keep in mind then when I go to look at this in Google Drive, I'm not able to do my edits, but this is a great workaround. Say you're trying to do something in spreadsheets and you just can't get it to work with Google Drive, with Google Spreadsheets, say it's just a functionality that's not there. You can still keep the file in your Google Drive folder and edit it in Excel, because there's always going to be those exceptions. All right. So we've gone ahead and we've talked about creating, uploading, and we've talked about searching for files. So let's go ahead and look at another option for viewing your documents. And that's going to be sorting. So right now I'm going to close this out and I'm going to go to sort. So you can see I can sort by last edited by me, last modified, last opened by me, title, and quota used. Now, I like to just look at last modified. That way it shows me what documents are being edited by myself or someone else. So we can see documents that were last edited by me. If we continue to go down, we can see this was last edited by an admin user. This was last edited by Courtney Bell, which is my other account. And here we have John Doe. Now let's go ahead and take a look at quota used. So as I mentioned before, any non-Google Docs that are uploaded are going to take some of your 5 gigabytes. This is really great if we sort by quota used, because say we do run out of our 5 gigabyte storage. We can actually look at quota used and we can see what's taking the most space. So we can see here Google Apps is taking 371 kilobytes. That may be something that I want to go ahead and delete to free up more space. You can see here we're looking at list view. However, we can go ahead and we can switch to grid view. So grid view is a little different because it's going to display documents with photos or pictures of them. Maybe you don't remember what you titled a document, but you remember what the beginning of the document looked like. Grid view may work. So you can see right here, if I forgot that this was named Google Apps, I can see a quick preview of it. You can see here, we can see the beginning of a document as well. So it's just a different way to view. You can see your documents in a visual manner. Moving along the right-hand side, we do have our gear. So let's switch back to list view and let's look at our gear. We can see we can change the display density, and that's just going to change the space in between your documents. You can see we can go to our settings. Now, settings in Google Drive is not extensive, so we actually won't be looking at settings. We also have our upload settings, so you can see I have mine set to automatically convert, and I have it to ask me before each upload in case I change my mind. We then have our keyboard shortcuts and our help. Now, if we go over here and we select this Google Apps document, I want to point out that we can still have our access to do a new folder. We can share this document right from here. We can organize the document. So if I select organize, I can, rather than dragging that over to a folder, I can select to put that in sample and I can move that to there. So it'll still be in my drive, but instead of being in all my drive, it'll be in sample. If I select the same document, you can see you can move it to your trash, but I also want to show you that you can do a preview. So preview is really great because, as you can see, it's going to show me a preview of the document and it's going to give me just a little bit of information on that document. Now, if we select more, you can see that it gives us options such as share. We can go ahead, we can add a star directly to this document. We can always rename the document, or we can download the document. Now, I want to point out here, we also have this submit to template gallery. So another great feature of Drive is this template gallery. People have created public templates. Also, you can create those templates and you can share those templates out with your domain. So say you created a really great spreadsheet for one of your customers and you want to go ahead and share the template with your domain so they don't have to recreate that spreadsheet and put in all of those formulas. Templates can be used within different departments throughout your organization too. They can save time and they help keep consistency. So you can see we can go ahead and I can submit this to a template. And here we can also see templates that you can use. So you can see we've got Dido training templates. We've got templates I've used and my templates. Let's go ahead and go back to Drive. And if you ever did want to go create a document from a template, you can get right from there just by selecting create and then selecting from template. So that's going to let you view those public templates. And you can go through, there's actually categories that you can browse through as well. So now let's go ahead and get into the heart of Google Drive. We've gone over basically our basics, navigation, organization. Let's get into creating some documents and using that real-time collaboration. So if we wanted to create a document, I can simply select create and then hop into document. As you can see, it looks very similar to Microsoft Word. We've got our formatting options. We can do different fonts. You actually can add different fonts to your Google Drive as well, which is always fun. So you can see I'm using Google Chrome. So when I do open up a new document, it's going to open up in that tab. So you can see I can easily go back to my drive, but then we have my document right here. I can go ahead and I can give my document a title just by selecting right here, and I will get that pop-up. I can give my document a star, and if I have forgotten to organize my document, no fear, we can do that from within the document as well. So it's really important to organize your documents. If you have a document list a mile long and you're trying to find something, we of course still have Google search, but I like to use our folders as well just to help me easily find something. And then if I can't find it in a folder, I normally go to search. It just is a little bit easier on the eyes when you're looking at an organized list rather than that big clutter. So this is essentially a Word document, but it's a Google document, and we can do a whole lot of different and interesting things with it. If I select File, I want to point out that I can download this, and I can download it as a Word document, as just a regular document, a PDF, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different options, a lot of different ways that we can download this document. Now, I'm sure you guys know how to use a Word document. I'm sure some of you have even started collaborating, but let's go ahead and let's start collaborating with some of my colleagues. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to select Share. So I want to go ahead and go through these share settings just in case some of you are unfamiliar with it. Right now, who has access to this document? Private. Only people listed below can access the document. So I can go ahead and change that. I can leave it public to where anybody on the web will find this document. I don't recommend doing this because a lot of the times we're working with business documents, so we don't want to necessarily make it public. Now, one option we could do is anyone with a link. So I want to point out, if you are sharing your document with somebody who does not have a Google Apps account, you can allow them to access the document by clicking Share Settings, anyone with the link. And then you can either share that document with them or you can give them the link. They can go in, they can view the document and everything. So we have the option to do anyone with the link. We also have the option to do anybody at your organization. So this is really great. If I select this, anybody at Dido can find and access my document. Now, if I don't want everybody at document to be able to access the document, we can take our sharing settings a step further and just allow only people at Dido or within my organization that have that link. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave mine anyone with the link because this is not going to have any sensitive information in it. So you can see anyone, no sign in required. So that's what I was talking about when I said anybody that doesn't have a Google Apps account you can still share documents with them. You can see we can allow them to can view, can comment, or can edit. So I'm going to switch it to can edit, and I'm going to hit save. Now you can see it's going to bring me back. Here's that link. So a lot of the times here at my organization, I'll be working on a document. If I want to bring in one of my colleagues, I have it to where anybody with the link can edit. I can copy and paste that link in the chat window to them, and they can just hop right in and begin editing. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to add some people. And you can see if they are in your address book, you can see that they will pre-fill. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite some of my colleagues to hop in here. And you can see we can change just as we could in the page before. If they can edit, perhaps I don't want them to go wild on my document. I have some things I just want their input on. I can allow them only to comment, or I can allow them just to view. So view only is the least amount of privileges that they can have. If they can edit, they can make those comments, they can still edit the document. And if they can, in comments is just you can still get their input, but they can't actually make any physical changes to that document. You can see that I can send a copy to myself, or I can add a message. Now, I always like to add a message if I'm sharing out with people. And then I simply have to click share and save. Now you can see that I'm actually sharing this document with people outside of my organization. So it is just going to give me a warning before I officially share that out, letting me know that they do not belong to my organization. So I'm going to go ahead, just click yes. And here we can now see who is able to access this document. Now the great thing is say I don't want Brian to edit anymore. I can simply go ahead and put can comment or can view. Say I'm getting ready to delete this document. I don't want it anymore. I can assign somebody else ownership. This also works great if somebody's going to be leaving your department. They can assign ownership to different people for documents. So let's go ahead and hit done. And we can see we already have one other viewer in here. So it looks like my colleague Megan has opened the document. So we're going to go ahead and just see what's going on with our real-time collaboration. So if we look up at the top, we can see what users are. We can see where they are at in the document, and we can see the changes that are happening in the document in real time. If we go over to the right, we can see Megan is pink. And if we select the drop down, it's actually going to let us be able to chat. So this is a great way to go ahead and just provide a little bit of guidance for the document as well. And we also can go ahead and make comments. So if you wanted to make a comment, there's two different ways. We can right click and we can simply create comment or select comment. We can then comment here, or we can always go ahead and just go insert comment. So if I have this highlighted, I can then go insert comment. And provide direction. Now you also can insert a photo as well. So you can see I'm here in the document. I'm going to insert, and you can insert an image, you can insert link, question, drawing. We also have that nice feature of inserting a horizontal line. We can insert page number, a lot of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a photo. And I want to point out that not only can you upload a photo, but you can also add a photo by URL. So if we're in Google Chrome and I was to open a new tab, now this is our Omnibox, which means I can both search or go to a web address from it. If I type in cat, it's going to go ahead and bring up my search. I'm going to go to image. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy image URL. So now if I hop back in my document and I go by URL, I can simply paste that picture of that cat in there. You can see it looks like our URL was a little bit too long. Looks like it doesn't start with HTTP or HTTP.ss, or sorry, but it looks like that is not going to work. So we need a better URL. Now at the same time I'm inserting by URL here, you also can insert by URL on your signature. So when you are doing Gmail, if you go to your settings and you go to your signature, you can easily copy your URL for like your company's logo and then insert it into your signature this way as well. So it looks like we've got this document, we've got this cat, we can go ahead, put it here, we can center it, we can even comment on this image. And with Google Chrome, it will go ahead and also let you know if you do mistype or misspell something. So you can see Megan went ahead and she already changed this to green. I can go ahead, comment back, great. And then I can resolve the comment. So you can see that's no longer going to be highlighted. I can go ahead and make this bold. And I can resolve the comment here as well. Now I want to point out, it looks like we have my colleague Tina in the document. We can see we have her orange cursor right here, and you can see it will highlight Tina every now and then. So we can see where they're at in the document. I also want to point out that all changes are going to be automatically saved. So each keystroke is going to be saved. This is really great because if you've ever had your computer crash when you are in the middle of working on a document, you sometimes can lose pages upon pages. With Google Drive, you actually don't have to worry about that anymore. The same is going to go for spreadsheets, so on and so forth. When we are typing, each keystroke is going to be saved. Now, say this document got a little bit out of hand. Say, I hate where it's gone totally wild. We're able to actually go back and look at our revision history. So if I go to File, I can then select See Revision History. It's going to show the exact time and what edits were made and who those edits were made by. So you can actually go back in history and we can revert the document back to when it made a little bit more sense. So we can see right here, Tina, her favorite thing is real-time collaboration. We can see what Tina did because it is in orange. So if we look here, orange square next to Tina, orange right here. If we look here, we have me as in green. If we look here, we have Megan. We can see what Megan has done is in pink. And then we see what I have done. So we can see that's in green right there. So let's go ahead and revert back to when this document did not have that silly picture of a cat. We're simply going to select Restore this version. You can see now our cat picture gone. Now, I do want to point out when you're copying and pasting, you sometimes can lose that formatting. If you're copying and pasting from Google Docs or Google Spreadsheets, one thing I want to show you is the web clipboard. So if I go ahead, highlight this, I can go Edit, Web Clipboard, and I can copy the selection to my web clipboard. And it looks like there was an error. I do apologize. My Google Drive seems to be quite silly today. It's making me reload. So if we copy this to our web clipboard, you can see it was successful this time. I have a lot of different sections. I've copied a lot of different things to my web clipboard, and I can paste them at different times. So you can see I have some cell ranges, I've got Megan, and then I've got what is your favorite Google app. You can see I then have options to paste as rich text, paste as HTML. So I'm going to go ahead, paste that as rich text. You can see it's right there. If I want to paste it again, web clipboard, we'll go ahead and we'll paste that. So you can see one way to not lose that formatting if you're going from Google Document to Google Spreadsheet or within the different Google Docs is you can use that web clipboard and you can have a queue of what you can actually paste. So I think we've given you a pretty good example of what this real-time collaboration looks like. Those comments are a great way to give a document direction. That way, you know, everybody has their own task, knows what needs to be done. A lot of the times I will be working on a blog post for our Dido blog, and I will have my colleagues come in, they'll help me proofread, but instead of changing directly on the document, they'll actually leave me that comment, say, hey, would you like to word it this way? Does this sound better? And then I can look and make that decision on my own. So I rely heavily on comments when I'm using my document, a lot of the times just because I don't want to change someone else's document. But if it's something like a typo, I'll go ahead and I'll change that. So now that we've gone over our Google Documents, I want to go ahead and look at spreadsheets. So let's go ahead, we'll close this out, and we're going to go ahead and go back to my drive. You can see here I've already created a spreadsheet example. So spreadsheets are going to be really similar to Excel. As you can see, the formatting is very similar to Excel and it has most of the same functionality. With spreadsheets, you actually can edit in real time as well. You can also still add those comments to a spreadsheet. So that's really that highly useful feature for collaboration. So one unique feature of spreadsheets that makes it a little bit different than Excel is if we go to Insert, we can see that we can insert these different things. We can insert our chart, our gadget, our image. We can insert a Google form, or we can insert a Google drawing. So we can insert those drawings, we can insert scripts. We also still have our functions as well. So you can see here are some of the functions that are just readily available. But I do want to point out that we do have a list of spreadsheet functions. I am actually going to copy this link and I'm going to paste it into the chat portion. That way you all have access. So if you select chat in your GoToWebinar, you can see that I've gone ahead and I have chatted you this link. So I know that there weren't a lot of functions listed right there. However, we do have this whole huge list of different functions that you are able to use in that spreadsheet. So we also can add a variety of charts and graphs to spreadsheet. We can add a line, bar graph, mat chart. We can also save a chart as an image, and then we can insert these images into a document or presentation. So let's go ahead and let's demo how to create a chart. So as you can see, I've entered in some sample data. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this data, and I'm going to select Insert Chart. From here, we can see what ranges I have selected, and I can always go back and reselect my ranges. I'm going to go ahead and switch my rows as columns. And you can see here, I now have some recommended charts. I can always use my column A as headers as well. If these charts are not something that I want to do, I can go ahead and click on this tab, Charts, right here. We can see all the different types. We can make a map actually, and then we could save this map to where if we needed somebody to be able to find directions to our business, we can always create a map for them. But right now, I'm just going to go ahead and simply do a line chart, and I'm going to select this line chart. So here we can see a quick preview, and then we can go ahead and get into some customization. So let's go ahead and select Customize. I want to point out that we can bold our chart title. I can change my title. I'm going to bold it, italicize it, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color. We also have our legend that we can edit as well. And we can change the font. So let's go ahead and change our font. You can see we can select a couple different things, whichever suits the need of this chart. We can also change the background. Now I know that may not be very professional if I make a bright yellow background, but I do want to point out that we can use those custom colors. We can change the features. So if I wanted to make my line smooth rather than the pointed, we can do that. You can see we can title our horizontal axis. Sorry, I know my mouse moved a little bit quick. We also can change the colors of our lines as well. We can change our line thickness, and we can change the point size. So you are able to go ahead and customize the chart. So let's go ahead and select Insert. We can see right here is my chart. If I select on the chart, I can use View mode or I can switch into Edit mode. When I select Edit, I can simply type or select where I want to edit. And then I can change that. If I select Enter, that will then apply. You can see here, I can go ahead and do my opacity of that chart. So I had that blue, it was a little too bright for me. I went ahead and knocked that down to 20%. You can see here, here's my horizontal axis. I can change that to months. And we can go ahead and edit that chart that way. If we select the drop down, we can go back to our advanced edit. We can delete the chart. We can save it as an image. We can copy the chart, or we can even move it to its own sheet. So here you see we have our chart right here. So I know that some of the features may not be as advanced as they are in Excel. If you do still have Excel on your computer, you are able to save those documents in your Drive folder on your desktop. And as you edit them, they will be updated with your Google Drive. So this actually is going to finish up our basics of Google Drive. It looks like we've got about 6 minutes for questions. So I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to any questions. If there's anything you want to go ahead and see again, anything that I might have missed, feel free to either use that question pane box, or I'm going to unmute Jeff, who's in the one conference room. You guys can ask questions that way as well. Feel free to raise your hand. Anything you want to see, anything I missed, I would be happy to go ahead and show that to you. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Courtney.
Any questions in your room?
I got a couple, and then we'll address other people's questions.
Great, let's go.
One thing we use is we have a purchase order requisition spreadsheet.
Okay.
And I didn't know you could do templates, so I'm thinking that we could make that a template company-wide, and
Oh, yeah.
then people could just open it and then create their own spreadsheet from that.
Yeah, that would be great. I actually made a template of like my presentation. That way, if anybody else, needs to use like any of my presentations I do. I've even done letterhead. I incorporated Google Drawing, but I made our own Dido letterhead to where if somebody wanted to uh, print something out on our own letterhead, you're able to do that as well. The templates are great. We use them all the time here.
Yeah, because I made a Google spreadsheet for that, and then I always forget, and I don't save it as and make a new one, and then I got to go revert back.
Yeah, or you have to do the make a copy because you can make a copy of a document too. If we go file, make a copy, and then you can always change the name. And you can also copy document collaborators. So if you have that document shared out, then they would have access as well. So that's a workaround if you don't do the template, but I definitely recommend doing the template because it's really easy to find. If they're on Drive, they just go create from template, and then they can go to, it'll say like FSEG.net templates. So then you can simply go ahead, let's see here, use this template, and it's going to open up right on their computer.
So you're not editing the template document. You're like you're creating your own.
No, as you can see, it does copy of it. So when we're doing the template, it's going to make a copy of it right away. That way you're not changing the actual template. So like if you've got a lot of functions and formulas in like a spreadsheet, it's awesome because you don't have to worry about them messing up the original template, and they don't have to go back in and re-input all of those functions.
Okay. Another question for you is when you do the share with link, can you share that with people that don't have a Google account?
Yes. I do this actually all of the time. A lot of the times when we're moving companies over just to Google Apps and we have not like converted, we haven't gone through the deployment yet, so they're still on like say Outlook or another service. What I'll do is what those outlines that I have that I sent to you, I will go ahead and do share. That's when we can go with a link, anyone with this link, and then I can even still type in their email. So they still will get an email letting them know that I shared that document. But since I have it set to where anybody who has that link can view it, they don't have to sign on to their Google Apps account to view the document.
They can only view it. They can't edit it.
No, we can still allow them to edit it. They can still make comments on it as well. It's just not going like when we look at the comments, it's not going to say by like Tina. It's going to say by like a user.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll still have like everybody comment or change my outline that I'll share with them for training.
Okay, it's pretty neat.
I know, it's a
Uh,
really great fact. I actually didn't realize that at first, and I kept going download as, and then I would send them the Word document. So it's actually really useful.
um, I have an end user that he developed a spreadsheet, and whenever he has certain values in the cell, he wants it to automatically change the color of another cell. And he can do it in Excel, and he can do it in another program we called LibreOffice, but he hasn't been able to figure out how to do it in Google. I didn't know if that's something you've ever ran into, like conditional formatting for,
Okay, so what he wants to do is when he changes the value of a cell, he wants it to
Yes,
change the color of another cell.
yes, but based on what input he entered. So like, let's say he wants to put in a 1, it would make the other cell green. If he puts in a 2, he wants to make that same cell that was green, he wants to make it yellow now. Kind of
Okay.
things like that, just to bring attention to other people that he shared it with.
Okay. I don't know that answer off the top of my head, but I would be more than happy to research that and get back to you to see if that's an option or a function that's available with Google Spreadsheets.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
uh, if I have more than one graph in a spreadsheet and displaying different information, now depending on who I want to look at it, I want that when you open a Google spreadsheet, it always opens up in the upper left corner of the spreadsheet. I want to show them a specific graph. You move them in the spreadsheet. I haven't been able to move them in the same page.
Okay, so you're having problems moving the actual graph in the spreadsheet.
Yes.
Okay. Let me go ahead because we should be able to move it from cell to cell. Because I do see what you mean. It doesn't move. Oh, well, actually, okay, so mine, so you're talking about when you open it, that graph is going to automatically go to the upper left?
Well, it's there. I see you have a hand, but when I have mine, I can't move it in that sheet like you are there.
Do
Oh,
you have Chrome?
I was using Chrome, yes.
okay. Using Chrome, can't move graph. I'll have to look into that to see how to troubleshoot that. Yeah, because it lets me make it now. Oh, I do have a question. Is it a document that you have like uploaded into spreadsheet, or is it one that you've created from within that spreadsheet?
Uploaded into the up
Okay,
into.
uploaded into. Okay, so sometimes when we do upload those, we do lose some of that formatting. Um, I can check and see what may be causing that. So you're uploading into spreadsheet. So you're uploading basically an Excel file to spreadsheet.
Yes, right.
Okay. I will actually research that a little bit more, see if we can find a workaround for that. Because I know if you do create it directly in spreadsheet, we can go ahead and move that around easily. We may want to work with you just on a one-on-one level to kind of figure out some workarounds for what you need to do in Google Spreadsheet. We can see if there is a workaround. If not, you may be one of the exceptions where we want to have like Excel on your computer and we want to upload it into that drive file on your desktop to where then anytime you edit it, you can still keep it in the cloud. It'll still sync with your Google Drive, but you have to edit the document in Excel. Because sometimes, unfortunately, we will have those, certain situations where we just don't have the capabilities yet in Google Apps. So I can work with you on a one-on-one basis and we can kind of see if we can resolve that.
Okay.
I think the training room here that we're in, we don't have any more questions. So if anybody else does in another room or at their desk,
And you
have
can
some
feel free to even email me questions, Jeff, afterwards if somebody thinks, oh man, I really want to know how to do this. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but if I don't know something, I will either go to help and I will search for the answer in like within that specific app. So if I need help on spreadsheets, I'll search right here or I'll just go through the different topics. But this help section is actually really great because that's how you can find normally what you need to do. So if you don't want to email me the question, if they find it in the help section, that's fine as well. But I just want to let everybody know that this is a great resource. And we here at Dido, if we don't know something, we will a lot of the times go through the help section even ourselves.
Okay. This is David. You have my sample spreadsheet I sent you.
Yes, I
How
do.
fast does it work for you? Because if I get a bunch of graphs on the spreadsheet, it seems to slow down more so than Excel does.
All right. So if I download this, and then you're uploading it, or you're uploading it into the file and into the folder
Yes.
on the desktop. Okay.
Well, no. I'm working with it in Google Docs,
Oh, in Google
and
Docs.
It seems the bigger the spreadsheet, the slower it goes, and it's not. It's very noticeable to me.
Okay, and that may be even that since it's editing such a large thing over your bandwidth or over the internet. Um, Let me go ahead and see here. Looks like converted. Let's open it. Looks like it. Oh, there's our chart finally. Yeah, I see what you mean because it took a while even for the chart to come up. So if we
Right now,
edit the
if you try
chart,
click on the green square, you get the drop down and see if it changes for you and how fast it changes. You gotta click right in the green square and the arrow then. And just pick something else, one of the other numbers. So see, it does work, but it's like slow.
yeah, there is like just a couple second delay on it.
Right.
My
And if
best
you get
guess.
several with a lot of data.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. My best guess would be just because it's a web-based application. That's why we're having that short delay. I will look into that as well to see if that's something other people are having problems with.
And since this is the one I was working with, see if you can move the chart on yours.
All right, let's check it out.
Yeah,
It
you can. I can't. So it might be, I'm still using XP, so I might have.
I will double check on that. At least we know that I can move it because I'm on I'm on an old MacBook. So it's not even like
Okay.
a new one. So at least it might even be something that we have to do like a support ticket with Google to where we found you're using this browser on this system and we're not able to move the chart to where it might even be something that we need to bring to Google's attention because we'll find small glitches and then we'll do a support ticket to have Google fix that. I have your email. So you and I can kind of email back and forth and see what we can get resolved on this.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, Jeff?
No, we're good.
Well, great. Well, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day. If you haven't had lunch, go get some lunch. It's perfect time for it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to go over Google Forms and we're going to go over Google Sites basics.
Good. Thanks, Courtney.
No problem. Bye, guys.